What is good, y'all? YD here, back with another reaction video, and today we're gonna react to 9 things that Americans do that Brits don't do. And it's kind of odd to see this, and it's kind of funny to see this too, so I want to see what we do differently. Let's get it in.
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to the things we do as people. It turns out that there are just things that people in one country do that the people in the other country do not do, and today we're going to take a look at 9 things that Americans do that Brits don't, and take that title with a grain of salt, okay? It's very much a generalisation. Of course, many of the things on this list probably are practised by some people, some pedants over in Britain. I said pedants, not peasants. But for the most part, on the whole, generally speaking, how many other ways can you say that? Americans do these things more than Brits. Now, if I'd have done this list maybe 12 years ago before I moved to the United States, there are some things I would have included that have since caught on in Britain. So, you know, baby showering or queuing up for the Black Friday sales or getting a coffee to go. So since there's more of a level playing field in regard to those things, I'm just going to leave them off the list. And given that we're all presently trapped in our bunkers, even the ones that did make it onto the list probably shouldn't temporarily, including this. Smiling at strangers, which I suppose is what I'm doing to you right now, so I'm a hypocrite in a way. And you know what, I think when I first encountered this is when you're walking along, say, a footpath, or you're in a parkway, and someone you've never met, maybe they've got a dog, they just look at you and smile. It sounds creepy when I put it like that, and at first it was. I thought I was going to get mugged, right? British people value their personal space, right? Don't enter that zone.
So let me stop him right there. For that exact reason is why we will give you a smile, so you won't feel uncomfortable. Like if we walk up, you know, with a mean face, then he's gonna feel threatened. He's gonna feel like you're gonna mug him, or you're gonna feel some type of way, you know. But if you come up with a smile, you know what I'm saying, as you walk past somebody, then it'll make them feel like a greeting or a nice, you know, showing like, okay, he's cool, you know, that type of deal.
And so whenever that happened, it was a little off-putting, but I got used to it when I realised that Americans are just really friendly, and this is a good thing, right? And so I not only came to embrace this, but I started doing it myself, and, you know, people got a bit creeped out by the British teeth. I can't help that, it's just something I'm born with, and so you're going to have to accept it from now on. I must say, though, that during this sort of weird situation we find ourselves in, if anybody smiled at me while I was going out to take the trash out, I'd run for the hills. We don't have hills in Chicago, so I'd be lost. Similarly, which is a word I had to say about 10 times before I got right, Americans might greet you not only with a smile, but by saying, how are you? Or what's up? And these don't mean, you know, are you okay? Or anything like that. It just means hello, right? And it's, in a way, it's sort of similar to how we Brits say, all right. And we're not asking if you're okay, we're simply saying hello. So in many ways there are similarities between the two. I don't really know why that is. Are we just trying to soften and euphemize the word hello in the same way that we would with death or going to the toilet? It's really odd when you think about it, but we both do it. Should I start my videos with, all right, I'm Lawrence, and no, I won't do that. What I will do is go on to our next entry. Yes, flags. I did talk about this in a video just recently, that, you know, American families and houses and things like that are very prone to having the flag flying outside. And I found that it really doesn't matter which party you vote for or anything like that. People will still fly the flags regardless of that, particularly...
Yeah, in America, you will see a lot of flags. It's a very patriotic place, and even when we were like in school, we used to even pledge our allegiance to the flag, you know. And pretty much almost any clothing store, you'll find some type of red, white, and blue or anything like that. But yeah, very patriotic country.
on July the 4th, but you will see it at all times of year on numerous houses. And that's not to say that we don't fly the flag in Britain, but we usually reserve that for very special occasions like football matches, which are very special occasions these days. There's just sort of, maybe there's more pride in the flag here, or it symbolises so much more, and therefore it gets used. And when I say it symbolises so much more, I mean, it really does. You've got the 50 stars representing each of the 50 states, and then you've got the 13 stripes representing each of the original 13 colonies. And so it's symbolic in many ways, and, you know, it's part of the lexicon even. You've got words like Old Glory, Stars and Stripes, and things like that. And so it's a very pervasive part of American culture. Ah yes, date formats. You know, again, I've spoken about this before on the channel, but it's very much worthy of inclusion, because when I first moved to the United States, it was very hard for me to get out of my head the British way of writing the date, which is to put the day first, the month second, and then the year. So it's sort of in order of unit, right? The smallest entity, the day, the second smallest, and then the third smallest, the year. Or is it to the largest? It's so hard to word that correctly without confusing yourself. I'm not a mathematician, and that was evident in my early days of trying to get my head around the American date format. It's not hard. I mean, you obviously just switch the day and the month around, but it's that thing you've known all your life. You're having to unlearn what you'd already learned. And eventually, working in an office every day for 5 years, the American way of doing things really did sort of cement itself in my head, and I came good on that front. And I think now if I were to move back to Britain, it'd be the other problem, and I'd have a hard time adapting. And if I tell everybody that, you know, my birthday is 11/18/1981, they'll think I invented 6 more months, and, you know, will kick me out of the country again for forgery. That's not what that means. Falsehoods, just general falsehoods. Oh, and while I'm on the subject of birthdays, that brings me on to our next entry. Tailgating was such an alien concept to me when I first moved to America, and in many ways it still is, and that's mainly because I don't own a truck or go to sports events, because that's what happens. When I talk about tailgating, I'm not just talking about, you know, when you drive too closely behind another car. I'm talking about that kind of thing that Americans do at sports events outside of sports stadiums or anywhere else where they can park it, and they just casually light a barbecue and drink beer. And I mean, they look fun. It's just I've never been invited to one, so pity me.
Yeah, tailgating is not a everyday thing. It's only for like special occasions, like y'all do with y'all flag, y'all like games. You can go camping. You can tailgate at a campsite or whatever, or go to the beach. You know, but tailgating just like you can go out. And it's a special occasion, type of grilling, like you said, or whatever you want to do when you tailgate.
Come on, feel sorry for me. It's never happened. The best you're going to get outside of sports stadiums in Britain is people selling pirated DVDs. I've just realised, actually, those pirate DVD sellers they're probably struggling right now because A, there's a pandemic on, and B, no one uses DVDs anymore. Actually, I suppose nobody is doing our next entry, including me, so I'm going to leave this to Lawrence from Christmas to explain. Anybody that's followed my channel now for a while will know that I have feelings on free refills. In fact, I did an entire video about it. And while they are all the rage here, and of course you'll find them in most fast food outlets and other places, there is one clarification I have to make here. You will find free refills as an option in places like Subway in the United Kingdom. So in some capacity, America has exported it, but it is by no means as universal in the United Kingdom as it is in the United States. And as I've said before, I think the temptation of knowing that I could get a free cup of pop on top of the one that I've already had is what made me give up pop in the first place. So I do have that to thank America for. Of course, if you are American and you have the willpower to stay away from the free refills, more power to you. Free refills or not, Americans do like their water to be very cold, and I'm not talking about their bath water. Can you imagine having an ice bath? Do they? That is weird. But they put lots of ice in their water occasionally, and you'll find this happening in restaurants, but people...
Now, you gotta have your ice in your water. Now, that is... I don't know. I didn't know it was an American thing, but I think everybody wants a cold drink, you know what I'm saying? Especially some cold water. Now, I ain't drinking no tap water, but I gotta have my water cold. If I got a bottled water, then of course I don't need no ice. But other than that, I'm gonna have to have some type of ice in my water. I don't know. Same thing with my drinks. I put a little bit of ice, not a lot of ice, but a little bit of ice just to keep it cool. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you gotta water that thing down. That thing be too concentrated. But yeah, I don't mess with the pop no more either.
Will do it in the comfort of their own homes too, and this was a somewhat of an alien concept to me before I moved to the US. I think maybe it's because we live in a mildish climate in Britain, we don't feel the need to do that, and the water in Britain tends to come out of the tap quite cold anyway, so that usually suffices. But actually I have come to appreciate this one, because during the summertime in Chicago, or previously where I lived in Indiana, you know, it gets very, very hot. Sometimes it can get over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you go out for a run in that weather, and that's not me, I don't run, but if you do, you're going to perspire like crazy, right? So not only do you need just water in general, it is nice to have it with ice in it, because it cools you down. Like it's ice cold, and you're catching your breath because it's going so dry from all the heat. They'll even buy bags of ice here in America. You can actually buy bags of ice from the store, and I still don't know why people do that. I know because you have ice trays and you put them in the freezer. Am I missing something?
So that you can have ice for a party.
Oh, right. Like a tailgating party, or just generally a party?
Any party.
Any party in the summer.
Or winter.
Who has ice in the winter? I mean, in the drink.
Floridians?
That's true. Is it even winter in Florida, though, when it's winter here?
Yes, but no.
Not the same. This one seemed really strange for the first few months of living in America. People going out to the store in their pajamas and sweatpants and things like that. It's as if they don't care about what they look like while, you know, traversing Walmart, which I can understand. It's not really something you'd find back in Britain.
Well, me for one, I'm not walking out in public like that, but I do got some friends that dress like that though, and I guess it just sometimes people want to make a quick run to the store and don't have to get all dressed up looking good, you know, just to go make a quick trip and come back home and lay back down or do whatever they was gonna do in the house. I don't know, but that's something we do, I guess.
I'm not saying we dress our Sunday best to go shopping, but we at least make an effort, put on jeans and a t-shirt, you know. You will see people going out in their gym jams, their jammies, PJs, right? And I'm not exempt from that, especially right now. I mean, I don't care what I want people to avoid me, so of course I go out in my pajamas or anything. I went out in this the other day. These aren't my pajamas. That's just me looking like a Sith Lord, a dime store Sith Lord, but nonetheless a Sith Lord. And I suppose in many ways it speaks to that American tendency toward comfort. But this is not just a pandemic era thing. I mean, people have been doing this for centuries, probably.
Pajamas?
Yeah.
I feel like that started in the 90s.
So there weren't people going in the 19th century going out with their sort of sleeping cap on and things like that to their local blacksmiths or whatever. That's it. Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond. Don't forget to follow me right here on YouTube so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. What are you laughing at?
I appreciate y'all for tuning in, watching with me. Until next time, y'all, I'm out of here.